Taking a look at the WTMJ 5-day forecast. An air quality alert still in effect until 11 p.m. for all of southeast Wisconsin. Tonight also a slight chance for showers, humid, a low of 71. Friday, mostly sunny skies, very warm and humid with isolated thunderstorms, a high of 88. On Saturday, mostly sunny, breezy, hot and humid, a high of 92. Sunday, partly cloudy, still warm and muggy, a chance for thunderstorms, a high of 88. And Monday, still partly cloudy, still warm and humid with another chance for thunderstorms, a high of 85. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 81 degrees. I'm Jessica Gayazzo, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 8:07.
On the field, inside the clubhouse, and everything in between. This is Brewers Weekly. Here's Dominic Cotroneo.
Hello. Happy off day. It's been quite the off day after a 6-0 road trip, 6 wins in a row for the third time this year. Getting to enjoy a beautiful summer day here in Milwaukee. Our producer is Brian Kelly. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Thanks for joining us this evening on your home of the Brewers. This is going to be one of the easier episodes of the year. If you're listening in podcast form, it's just me, just doing talk radio. We're taking a little breather today after all the chaos of the trade deadline last week. We had Jeff Passan the week before that. You can listen to all those episodes in your podcast feeds at Brewers All Access, wherever you get your pods. And we've had a post-game show after every game of this 6-game road trip, thanks to the Braves giving us a night game getaway day. Well, thank goodness for the off day yesterday, so no big deal with the off day to get ready for the New York Mets and the rematch and the bloodbath and the anger. No. The Mets are in a weird funk right now. We'll talk about them at the very end of the program, but the Brewers, this is our taking stock episode. 48 games to go. We're not going to have many more opportunities to sort of sit down and reflect and look forward and preview, just sort of like, okay, what's gone right? What's gone wrong? What can go a little better, if such a thing, with the team with the best record in Major League Baseball with 70 wins, the first there. They're 4 games up still in the division on the Chicago Cubs, and they still have one more series down in Chicago. And we've got some really fun stuff playing for you down there at Wrigley to get ready for that series. And, man, I'm just sitting here. I was talking to a lot of folks today around the national media. I was on ESPN Madison earlier today, too, and just the common refrain we keep hearing is like, is this for real? Is this the team that's going to do it? Is this the team that's finally going to win a playoff series? And time will tell, obviously. I don't have a crystal ball, nor do you. But as we sit here and try to poke holes in everything, it's just a quick plea from myself, the baseball fan, to maybe baseball is your second favorite sport or your third favorite sport, but you want to get involved and you want to enjoy a run like this, because runs like this don't grow on trees, where you have the best record in baseball. The message I give to the people that are trying to, it's maybe they'll fall apart, maybe they're going to lose another, maybe, but maybe they win the World Series. Why do you got to spend all your energy being negative? Like, imagine all the things that can go wrong. What if this guy gets hurt? And what if this guy stops performing? What if that guy doesn't pitch well? Like, okay, but what if they do? But what if they perform? What if they continue to play well? What if this is the team that says, yeah, finally, win a series, maybe more than one, maybe move on to the World Series one day, win a pennant for the first time since 1982? Because after all, the curse is broken. The Mets did not win the pennant last year. The Mets were knocked out by the eventual world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. So maybe by breaking the curse last year, the Mets losing in the NLCS, they inherit the curse. Since the team that eliminated them went on to win the World Series, I guess there's only one way to find out if the Brewers face the Mets this year in the playoffs and they eliminate them. Do they win the World Series? And you start a new curse. Just thinking out loud here. But 48 games to go. The Brewers series remaining here, as you look at what they can have, they're 70 and 44. I just can't believe that. They are 70 and 44, 26 games above 500. Now, 15 series remain, starting with the Mets tomorrow night. Of those 15 series, 8 of them are against teams that I suspect will be above 500 when the Brewers meet them. And by suspect, I'm pretty confident in this, unless Texas falls off a cliff. But those 8 series are as follows. Versus New York, at Cincinnati, at Chicago, at Toronto, versus Philadelphia, at Texas, at San Diego versus Cincinnati. Those last two coming in the final week of the season. Then that leaves 7 series, I believe, that the opponent will be under 500 at the time of the series. And those are Pittsburgh, the second half of this homestand. Next weekend against San Francisco, I should say in 2 weekends against San Francisco. Then following that up with Arizona in a 4-game set. Pittsburgh again. 2 more with St. Louis. And 1 in Anaheim. So a lot of these, in fact, of these 7 series against teams below 500, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 4 of them are going to be at home. It's good news. When you start looking ahead at what are the numbers and the benchmarks that we want to look at in these final 48 games, being at 70 wins right now, the team record for a 162-game season is 96 wins. Now, I say 162 is because we all remember 2018. Game 163 technically counts toward your win-loss record, and that was their 96th win of the season. That being said, that's the number. They also reached 96 wins in 2011. They would need to go 26-22, just 4 games over 500 for the rest of the way to meet that number. Of course, 5 games above 500 the rest of the way to break that number. And then the easy math tells you if they go 30-18, that's a pretty strong clip over their last 48 games. That would be their first 100-win season in Milwaukee Brewers franchise history. They've been over 95 wins 5 times in franchise history. The last time they did it was 2021 when they won 95 on the nose. 1979, 1982, 2011, 2018, and 2021. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking 95 is a good marker. 25 and 23, that's easily doable. And quite frankly, I think a lot of folks would be sitting here going, yeah, that's all they ended up with? Huh. Hope they don't cool off. But this team's bound for October. Get ready for it. I'm very confident in saying it. Very confident. Best record in baseball, you should be, with 48 games to go. And the team survived a 6-game road trip. And before you say, oh, it's the Nationals and the Braves, they did it without Churio. Mizorowski had to skip a start. Even had a couple of days off for Sal Frelick in the middle of it. Caleb Durbin isn't starting every game anymore. He's cooled off. To have Blake Perkins back. William Contreras cooled off in Atlanta after he was white-hot in Washington. So the contributions this team's getting from top to bottom makes me believe that they are sort of slump-proof. And in fact, there are only 2 teams in baseball, that have not been swept this season. They're both in the division, the Reds and the Cubs. The Brewers have only been swept once, the first series of the year. You know, we talked all season long last year about how they hadn't lost 4 games in a row at all last year. And then they lose their first four games this year because that's funny. But the Brewers haven't lost more than 2 games in a row for over 2.5 months. Isn't that nuts? Like, since May 25th, like when that first streak started, they haven't lost more than 2 games in a row. That's remarkable. That's why I think people like myself believe in this club as to saying there is somebody different every night. They are deep. They are talented. And quite frankly, they're excited. They know deep down this team's really darn good. And it should play in October. One of the reasons it will play in October, the guy's been hitting cleanup. Andrew Vaughn. Looked at his numbers a little bit. And let's go ahead and sit back and marvel and take stock in what Andrew Vaughn has done to this point as a Brewer and why I think this is sustainable, not to a Herculean level, but, you know, a much more modest output. We'll explain on the other side of the break, right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Back with more Brewers Weekly after this.
Think of your experienced quality electrician for remodels or smaller projects like replacing fixtures or fluorescent lights to LED, electric car charging port installs, and electric panel swap outs. Codes are about to change that require a more expensive breaker. Quality can help. And for a power outage, count on lightning fast emergency service.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Nobody likes it when their old water heater sings its last song. But if there's a positive side to it, say you upgrade now with a tankless water heater. That means instant hot water on demand. Those old water heaters aren't exactly efficient either, but you ride them as long as you can. And when they can't do the job anymore, call Quality. Whether it's drain cleaning, snaking, or taking care of a leaky pipe or faucet.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
As the kiddos get ready to get back to school, you can find really great back-to-school savings at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. School supplies and some surprisingly cool clothing too. And teachers, you get an additional discount. Get the best back-to-school bargains at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about in my clinic kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Petronio. 855-616-1620. 855-616-1620. The Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. One more time, 855-616-1620. Let's talk a little Andrew Vaughn, shall we? He is the talk of Major League Baseball right now. The trade that, thank goodness, Aaron Savali asked for. And you can also go a little deeper with the butterfly effect here, too. You know, Joey Ortiz, that throw, he got the out on the throw in Miami that sailed on him, that Reese had to leave the bag and jump and drop a tag down on the base runner, then it jammed his thumb and it led to the sprain that he's dealing with right now. If that never happens, does Andrew Vaughn ever come up? And then if Andrew Vaughn never comes up, are the Brewers bigger players in the trade deadline? And if the Brewers are bigger players in the trade deadline, are we talking about a prospect going forward? And if we're talking about a prospect going... It's like, you get what I'm saying here? Like the butterfly effect of that one throw. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts to really think about. So Andrew Vaughn. A lot of folks ask, okay, is this for real? Is he going to stick? This is unbelievable. How is he doing this? Why is it so different in Milwaukee versus Chicago? And don't say change of scenery. Oh, shoot, I just said it. Anyway, the way that the Brewers instruct and help hitters, again, the value of a walk, the Brewers have found a way to convey that to their players. I think the mix of players that they have understand, I just need to get on base. My dream one day, and this will never happen, but my dream one day is that we don't care about batting average, and that one day that we just care about on-base percentage as that first stat that you look at. You know, some people make total assumptions about a guy's batting average, about what kind of a hitter he is. And, look, I'm not trying to discredit anybody that's a 300 hitter. That is super impressive. But it doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the guy. Yes, the guy probably gets on base often. But, for instance, just by looking at a glance, a 256 batting average hitter, okay? 256 batting average hitter. And you're like, all right, yeah, he's probably like a league average hitter, right? Well, no, he's got a 379 on-base percentage. Who am I talking about? No, not Andrew Vaughn. I'm talking about Kyle Schwarber. Now, it helps to have 40 bombs to go with that, but that's the kind of production we're talking about right now with what Andrew Vaughn has been doing as a Brewer. Again, this is not going to be sustained having a 377 batting average in his 22 games as a Brewer. But having over 400 on base, that's pretty nuts. And Schwarber, right around 380, that's pretty solid. When you look at the National League qualified batting leaders, and we look at on-base percentage, Will Smith still leads the way, but he's not technically qualified. He will qualify because he gets basically 1 to 2 days off per week. He will qualify by the end of the year at 416. But there are no other qualified hitters above 390 in the National League. You got Ketel Marte, Kyle Tucker, Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani. Those are the only guys in the 380s. Then you got Schwarber at 379. So, to sit here and look at Andrew Vaughn's 444 on base percentage, I'm thinking, wow, that's nuts. How is he doing this? He's not striking out less. He's just walking more. And yes, there are fewer strikeouts on a rate basis, but it's just that the walks have gone exponentially up for him to make sure that he's good to go for this team for what they need. For instance, when you look at his walk rate as a White Sox, this year it was 3.6%. As a Brewer, it is 11%. Furthermore, he has replaced that 8% or so from his walk rate into his strikeout rate. 22% strikeout rate with the White Sox, 13% with the Brewers. And I know you're thinking, Dom, that's 9%. Okay, margin of error. Point being, he's not chasing as much. That's the main thing. He's swinging and missing the exact same amount. He's making contact in the zone the exact same amount. He's hitting the ball hard the exact same amount when he hits the ball hard. But his chase rate has dropped from 36% to 26%. That's actually 2 points better than league average now at 26%. So to be a slugger that understands the value of a walk, that also adds in the home runs that he's been hitting as a Brewer, more homers now as a member of the crew, 7 versus 5 with the White Sox in just under half the games. But I started to look backwards, and I started to look, why is this working for Andrew Vaughn? And what is his floor? What is the baseline that maybe, when he does eventually cool off, what should Brewers fans be expecting? His 2022 season was sneaky underrated. And the White Sox were stuck in between, right? They made the playoffs in 21. Then they were stuck in between. They had some injuries in 2022. They had some guys not really wanting to be there. They had a lot going on with Tony La Russa. But he still had his best year that season, did Andrew Vaughn. One of the stats we use is called WOBA, weighted on base average. And I know, we've talked about alphabet soup before when we talk about all the acronyms that baseball teams use, and I'm wearing my shirt from RotoWare. That's all the acronyms that we use. I think on here I got BABIP, I got WOBA, I got XFIP, I got swinging strike percentage, and I got WAR on this shirt from RotoWare. But WOBA, weighted on base average, basically is the way that we weight the value of the ways to get on base. In the eyes of on base percentage, a single and a home run are exactly the same, when you and I both know they're not. Furthermore, a walk and a single are pretty much the same, but a double and a walk shouldn't be valued the same. That's what on-base percentage does. A walk and a double are worth the exact same, but weighted on base assigns weights to all these plays. So the point being is, you grade it like batting average. Anything above 300 is considered solid. Now, league average hovers right around 310 or so. In 2022, Andrew Vaughn had a 327 weighted on base average. That is plus 17 points from league average. Now, his WOBA right now is absolutely ungodly. It is not going to sustain itself. On the season, his WOBA has improved to 309, given it was in the cellar a season ago. It was all the way down to 304, which is the lowest it's ever been for him. But 309, that's combined between the Brewers and the White Sox, making it even more impressive. The fact that he's virtually a league average hitter in combination of his 70 or so games that he's played in the big leagues this year. But as a Brewer, his WOBA sits at 476. Whereas as a White Sox, it was 231. But now, if you just add those two numbers and do a simple average between those two, right? 476 plus 231. Okay? 707. So you're looking at roughly a 353 weighted on base average. If you just average them, if it doesn't work like that. But I'm saying, if he falls down to a 340 WOBA as a Brewer, his X-WOBA sits at 360, which is still really good. X-WOBA takes into your StatCast, takes into your quality of contact. So the thought being, as I lose some of the fans, like, well, who cares about all these letters and numbers, Tom? Is it going to stick? I think even his baseline is really darn good. And this was a really savvy move by Matt Arnold and company to say, there's more in the tank there, we want him. And the best part is, he's got 2 more full seasons of team control after this. You have found your Rhys Hoskins replacement like that. Rhys is probably going to walk in free agency, mutual option for next year. Those never get picked up. So you found your first baseman, Andrew Vaughn. I'm excited to see what the rest of the year could be. One last thing, getting into good counts. He's seeing more 3-1 and 2-0 counts than he ever did with the White Sox. And when he's ahead in the count, he's hitting, this is no surprise, 70 points better for batting average when he's ahead in the count versus behind in the count. And then his OPS goes up by 400 points when he's ahead in the count versus behind in the count. I mean, he's not chasing. He's making hard contact. He's getting ahead of the count, and he's doing damage. Seems like a pretty good combination. I hope it sticks around. I think he's going to be a key piece for the Brewers. We'll talk about Reese in our lineup thoughts section later on in the program, but Andrew Vaughn's sticking around, man. If you're thinking about that jersey, go get it, man. What a summer it's been for King Vaughn in Milwaukee. Take a break. Let's talk a little bullpen now, shall we? Reinforcements on the way. What are you talking about? The one trade, one of the key trades, I should say. The one trade on deadline day the Brewers made. We'll talk about that next on 620 WTMJ.
Catch more Brewers Weekly coming up on WTMJ.
Hey, Wisconsin, come explore with us. Tired of scrolling through travel feeds? It's time to make your own postcard. Fox World Travel is throwing a free vacation showcase just for you. Chat directly with the dream makers from Viking, Royal Caribbean, Insight Vacations, and more. We're talking beyond the brochures. Think insider secrets, unforgettable destinations, and deals you won't find anywhere else. Join us Saturday, September 20th at the unforgettable EAA Museum in Oshkosh. Register online at foxworldtravel.com today.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
He told us to load 4 yards into his 8-foot bed, but we knew that 3 full, honestly measured yards were going to fill his truck bed to the rim. After we proved that, he told us the other guys have been telling him he's been getting 4 yards in there for years. Honest measurements and honest folks who just want to do you right. So you come back. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. We did the math. When you buy bagged mulch from the big guys, you pay $50 a yard. Why pay more for inferior mulch? When you buy from Erickson's, you'll get premium mulch for almost half the cost. And you'll see that even our economy mulch is better, for less than half the cost of bag mulch. And either choice is made with premium colorant that lasts longer. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
It's Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Catronio. Halfway through. We're going to the top of the hour here on Brewers Weekly. I'm Dom Catronio. I already said that. It's an off day. I didn't think about a lot of baseball today, honestly. 855-616-1620. 855-616-1620. The Signing Unlimited WTMJ talk and text lines. Let's go ahead and get to that WTMJ hotline. Dick in Port Washington. Dick, you're live on Brewers Weekly.
Okay, thanks. Now, the other night, you didn't like that I called because I'm an older guy, but please give me some patience tonight. The last segment you gave was excellent for whips and whops and hoops and whatever. But what you never addressed is what made the changes occur to improve. How did he improve? And I think when you look at the Brewers, and I think there was an article in the paper today or yesterday, that they research every player they make an offer to. Is he going to fit in? Are the coaches pleased with him? Can they work with the guy? And I think one of the things that has made this season what it is today is that we could take a guy like this, that if you looked at just the numbers, all those numbers, you just spew it out, you never would have took him. But we saw something in them, not we, they saw something in him that they felt they could work with. And the batting coach, I think Murphy, they changed him. Otherwise, he would have been doing the exact same thing, because you don't go from being bad with the White Sox to being good with the Brewers. Now, some of it you could say is the better record. You're seeing pitches better. You got guys behind you in front of you. But I think all the numbers you talked about never got to the core. Why did he improve? Why do you think he improved?
Because he's not chasing. That was the first number I gave you. That was the first,
Sure. Okay. So who told him not to chase? You don't think the White Sox told him don't chase those balls?
Right. The environment of saying this team values a walk. The White Sox do not value a walk on that team. And I'll give him credit, too, here, Dick, too. The other thing about Vaughn, he had 3 different managers in 4 years as a White Sox. That is hard. 3 different regimes, 3 different messages. That doesn't even include interim managers. Like, he gets a consistent, simple message here, and I think you can see and reap the rewards of his success.
Yeah, but you got to give credit to the change that was made by the coaching staff and how the Brewers research what players to get.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement there. I think we're trying to say the same thing here, that the Brewers identified, hey, this is who we want, when Aaron Savali, says, I want to trade, and the White Sox come calling saying, hey, we take him, and the Brewers instantly say, Andrew Vaughn. And probably, I'm not saying this for sure, Matt Getz goes, take him. And because the Brewers said, yeah, we see things here that we like, and that's exactly your point there, so I appreciate the call, and we're saying the same thing. I agree. Like, yes, the coaching staff taught him the value of a walk, reminded him, hey, you're a great hitter. And let's not act like this guy's a slouch either. He won the Golden Spikes Award. He was a 3rd overall pick. This guy was a great hitter for 3 years in the show, 22, 23, and 24, and started to show signs of something going wrong in 24 as the team was terrible, and now this year it came to a head. But, hey, I really like what we're seeing. A little bit of bullpen talk here. Tomorrow, the Brewers are expecting to activate Shelby Miller. He was traded from the Arizona Diamondbacks to the Brewers for a cash deal. That deal was meant to be also a salary dump for Jordan Montgomery. There's been a few questions about this trade, and with the Nestor Cortez trade and then bringing in Lockridge, all the money ends up being a wash for the Brewers, because the Brewers trading Nestor get that off the books, and the money they're taking on from Jordan Montgomery and from Shelby Miller, who's making $1 million this year, it's only a third of the year remaining, and another $7 million, I believe, is owed to Jordan Montgomery. The Diamondbacks sent $5 million on this deal as well. So everything's a wash, right? The Brewers didn't take on nor drop salary at the deadline by adding Shelby Miller and Jordan Montgomery. So that's how all of that worked out. Shelby Miller was dominant on Tuesday night in AAA Nashville. 3 strikeouts, touched 97, sat 95, 96, showed off the splitter, showed off the slider. 3 batters, 3 strikeouts, 17 pitches, 10 were strikes. So he comes into a bullpen now that's suddenly really firing on all cylinders. The locks of the roles on this team, there's only 2 locks of Abner Uribe, you have the 8th, Trevor McGill, you have the 9th. But by adding Shelby Miller into the fold, who, by the way, is a right-handed pitcher who can get lefties out, makes this team a lot deeper in their strategy against left-handed windows, right? Jared Koenig and Aaron Ashby and DL Hall can get lefties out. But let's say Aaron Ashby went 2 1/3 innings in bridge work the night before, and maybe DL Hall was already burned, or you're saving him for tomorrow, whatever it may be. And then Jared Koenig, maybe his spot, maybe it's the 6th inning, and you really got a tough spot against lefties here. You can go to Shelby Miller. Or Abner's been used in back-to-back games, but McGill hasn't been used in back-to-back games, so you got Trevor still for the 9th. Shelby can pitch the 8th. He becomes a versatile leverage piece. Now, I don't think the Brewers are going to throw him straight into leverage, but by the end of September, he will be pitching in the 7th or 8th inning, in my opinion, if the situation presents itself. You need as many stoppers as you can in the postseason, because you look at it right now, all right, who's your lefty guy That's Jared Koenig, and it can be Shelby Miller, and it also is Aaron Ashby, but he can go multiple innings. Who's your righty guy? It's Grant Anderson. And then the guys that are allowed to face both sides, it's Shelby Miller and Nick Mears, right? Because they can get both sides out. They got the tools to do so. And your locks are the righties, Uribe, McGill in the 8th and 9th inning. That's a really, really good bullpen. You hope for health. You hope everything goes well. And to think that, all we were talking about was Craig Yoho and Brian Hudson coming out of spring training. Hudson was DFA'd and then claimed by the Chicago White Sox. Yoho still in AAA, repeating the level. He'll be a factor in next year's bullpen, I imagine. But the Brewers sit here and continue to churn with their pitching lab and with their pitching development to say, all right, now they've got a guy with a bona fide splitter. They don't have anybody else with a splitter on this team. And furthermore, somebody that has plenty of experience and was on the Brewers' COVID taxi squad in 2020 in the fever dream of a season that was. But Shelby Miller, he was a starter for a long time. He was kind of the centerpiece of the Paul Goldschmidt trade from the Cardinals to the Diamondbacks years ago. It did not work out as a starter. He was not healthy. There's a lot going wrong for him. But then the Dodgers revitalized his career with that splitter in 2023. He was a Tiger last year. It wasn't great. He was available, but didn't get the strikeouts the same. Then this year, the strikeouts came back. So good to see him back. I'm excited to see what he can do for the Brewers this year. But this bullpen is really set up well. Let's talk a little base running now. What's going on with the base running? Does it feel a little different? Because the numbers agree. We'll talk about that next. Brewers Weekly continues on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
More Brewers Weekly coming up on WTMJ.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scavini for QC Kinetics. You ever wake up with that pain in your back or your elbow? In my case, it's my elbow, or your knee or your other joints. Well, how about doing something about it? I went to QC Kinetics. I talked to Dr. Ashley Caravelli and their team and scheduled my treatments, 5 treatments throughout the summer, to make me feel better, to use my own body to help restore and repair this damaged joint, in my case, the elbow, using natural therapies, no surgery, none of the pills, no masking of the injuries that are bothering you. You can even bring your own x-rays and MRIs to QC Kinetics for a free no-pressure chat, and you can find out if you're a good candidate. Worst case, you'll learn something new about yourself. Do what I did. Go to QC Kinetics. You will find out what is ailing you. You'll help your body heal itself. Here's the number, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Don't wait. Call now. QC Kinetics.
Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Petronio, 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620 for Brewers Weekly. Short segment here to talk a little base running. I saw, the finale against the Braves wasn't the prettiest base running. Collins got thrown out in the first inning. Perkins got thrown out in the third inning. It didn't matter. The Brewers still won the game. But 2 things. I said it on social media, and I'll repeat it here. My personal crusade will be making obstruction reviewable by replay next season. Because I'm telling you, nobody's calling it. Nobody. And nobody's even looking for it. I'm not blaming the umpires on this. They have to look for so many different things on a singular play as the base umpire on a stolen base. And they are only graded on whether or not their call gets overturned. Okay? If they want to get postseason assignments, their priority is going to be, did they get the call right? And if you bring in another replay review, that's another chance for them to get a call wrong. But if you can review obstruction at home, if the catcher's blocking the plate for the Buster Posey rule, why can't you review it on any other base? And everybody I've talked to in Major League Baseball doesn't have an answer for that. So let's fix that next season, especially for a team like the Brewers. You'll see the screen grab I tweeted of the second base or shortstop Nick Allen right in front of second base as Blake Perkins is trying to slide to the outside of the bag. And for the folks who say, oh, just go in, spikes hard, and go straight at his ankle, that'll teach you a lesson. Like, I don't want to see the game played like that anymore. Like, I don't want to see a guy get spiked, lead to a brawl, lead to a hold. Like, nobody wants to do that anymore. That's why we created the obstruction rule. But sometimes you take matters into your own hands. But also Blake Perkins wouldn't hurt a fly, so I don't see that happening with him. But on the base running front, so the Brewers get caught stealing twice yesterday. What's up with their success rate this year? 75% success rate, which may sound good on the surface, but it's a run-stealing environment. Everybody is more successful than they were 5 years ago. League average is 79%. So they're actually a below-average success stolen base team, despite having the second most steals in Major League Baseball. Furthermore, last year they they were second in the National League with 217 steals, but they've already surpassed their caught stealing total. 42 last year, 43 this year. They were 84% success rate a season ago, so almost 9 points better. What gives? First of all, it's not a secret anymore, right? It's not catching anybody by surprise that the Brewers want to run, and that makes it more difficult. Maybe you look on the scouting report and you see this pitcher facing a team that isn't known for running, and he's popping, what we use, you can have the release time, right? When a pitcher's in the stretch and you see a first base coach with a stopwatch, they're tracking his release time. Because when you combine that with the average pop time of the catcher, that creates a math equation. I know I've said this before. It creates a math equation of saying, all right, you've got X many seconds to steal the bag. And based on your lead and based on your runner, can you get this done with that math equation? So generally, if you see a pitcher that's like 1-4, that's generally a yellow light. 1.5 seconds and above, that's a go zone. Because that's from first move to the pop of the mitt. That is the time that you're tracking. Because then if you add a 1.9 pop time, which is still elite for a catcher, that is the pop of his mitt to the pop of the second baseman's mitt trying to apply the tag. Okay? So let's say he's a 1.5 on the mound and a 1.9 at the plate. So that puts you at 3.4. But you also got to factor in some time for the transfer, for the second baseman to drop it, and maybe the pitch, maybe the pitch brings some time into the pop time as well. If he's getting ready to throw and the pitch is down and in and makes it harder to throw, that sort of thing. So all that gets factored into the equation. But all of a sudden, if a guy is popping 1.5s on tape, and you're like, oh, we can run on this guy all day. And then you're on the mound and he's popping 1.2. And he's like incorporating a slide step you haven't seen before. He's varying his looks. He's varying his timing. You're like, what? I thought this guy said I could run on this guy. So that's another thing that makes it difficult to run. And then the other thing with the Brewers, the key piece of personnel that departed this past year, we were all excited about Chris Hook getting the extension. The Brewers missed Quentin Berry. And this isn't a knock on Julio Bourbon. I think he's a fabulous coach. Quentin Berry made his whole career out of being a base stealer. Like, this is his specialty. This is his goal, to steal as many bags as possible. And that's why he brought it to Chicago. And look at all the stolen bases that they've been able to do with their personnel. And now he's their third base coach with Craig Counsell. And I give Q Berry all the credit in the world. Go get your money, man. Absolutely. I would do the same. But keep in mind, like, Q at first base, you talk to guys. I mean, Willie Adames stole 20 bags last year. Like, 2020 season for Willie Adames? Nobody saw that coming. And in case you're wondering, how many stolen bases do Willie Adames have this season with the San Francisco Giants? 4. I rest my case. So I think the three main factors that are happening here, it's not a secret anymore. The Brewers, are not sneaking up on anybody that they want to run the bases. Number 2, Quentin Berry is no longer a member of the coaching staff. And number 3, the personnel is just a little different. Okay? They don't have quote-unquote burners. They don't have a Chandler Simpson type. Churio can run. He doesn't get great jumps. Collins is above average speed, but he's not a burner. Perkins is above average speed. He's not a burner. Terang, it's getting harder for him to steal. I mean, you steal 50 bags, everyone's going to know you're going to be trying to steal, so it's harder for him to steal bags, but he's been super valuable with the bat to help his case at this point. So it's been tough sledding at times for the Brewers with stolen bases. Doesn't mean they're going to stop doing it. Who said the quote years ago? I'd rather you go 0 for 9 from 3 than 0 for 1. You kept shooting. That's what the Brewers are going to do. They're going to keep shooting. They're going to keep stealing. Now, it always tightens up in the playoffs. You never get as many opportunities to run in the playoffs just because everybody's on alert for it. Every base runner is valuable in the postseason. So I wonder how aggressive they want to be in October this year. Because if memory serves right, I'll get to this on the break. The Brewers had like one stolen base attempt in the 3-game series against the Mets last year. I'm going to double check that in the break. But I'm not worried about the base running, but I think now the Brewers offense as a dynamic doesn't need the base running as much as they did maybe a season ago. Up next, talk a little lineup. Give you some injury updates. What's up with Churio? What's up with Reese? What's up with Bowers? Also, what happens when all those guys get healthy? Back with more after this on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Back with more Brewers Weekly after this.
My gut tells me that this summer heat's going to last, and that means your AC is going to be put through the paces. Now, we all know that AC can take a licking and keep on ticking, especially if it's an Armstrong. But when yours needs to be put out to pasture, call Quality. With over 70 vehicles on the road, we'll be there in a hurry. And with over 60 years of experience, how can you go wrong?
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Think of your experienced quality electrician for remodels or smaller projects like replacing fixtures or fluorescent lights to LED, electric car charging port installs, and electric panel swap outs. Codes are about to change that require a more expensive breaker. Quality can help. And for a power outage, count on lightning fast emergency service.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Brake issues, electrical issues, four-wheel drive issues, exhaust issues, and even my car just won't start issues.
You name it, we fixed it.
So the next time you're due for service, drive it on into Richlands and let our ASE certified technicians get you fixed up and safely back on the road.
Nothing warms my heart more than seeing our customers drive out of here with big old smiles on their faces. And all the credit goes to our staff, the most friendly, honest, hard-working, knowledgeable people in the business.
5 conveniently located facilities, all AAA approved,
and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to provide you with top-notch service.
And after your vehicle's been serviced, drop us a Google review and let us know how we did.
Because a Google review from you goes a long way. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, reminding you to double-check your home. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family-owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. Call Siding Unlimited and visit sidingunlimited.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia problems, cognitive decline. It's their specialty. They're great at it. And they also offer early memory loss classes. They can help your loved one with locations throughout our state, many here in southeast Wisconsin. I've been in their facilities. They're top notch. It's kindness at the core. It's compassion and empathy at Azura. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
As the kiddos get ready to get back to school, you can find really great back-to-school savings at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. School supplies and some surprisingly cool clothing too. And teachers, you get an additional discount. Get the best back-to-school bargains at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Let's talk a little lineup. Shorter segment here as well. I got one more break to squeeze in here at the end of the show, too. What's the news on Jackson Churio? Churio, as reported in Atlanta, responded well to treatment and is anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks out. So anywhere from the Giants series to the Phillies Labor Day series. Somewhere in that range could happen for his return, which, again, to the folks that were doom and gloom on social media saying, oh, he's out for the year, guys, you're not in the clubhouse, with all due respect. That was never the messaging published from the Brewers. And we'll get more information tomorrow from Jackson himself on how he's feeling from his hamstring strain, which he did not travel with the team at all to Washington or Atlanta. So he's still around and getting treatment. He has resumed workout activities. He has not resumed on-field baseball activities yet to this point. Next up, Rhys Hoskins has not started swinging yet. We will find an update tomorrow of what that timeline is for him. Again, the late August return is the latest plan for him. I imagine there's going to be a rehab assignment on that. Maybe not a long one, but just try to get the eyes and the batter's eyes back going for him. Because also, again, if Andrew Vaughn is going hot when Rhys Hoskins returns, Andrew Vaughn's going to play. The games matter at this point, that Rhys becomes that bat off the bench that if you just need a power slug and you're trailing for some reason and you want to pinch hit for Joey Ortiz in a big spot, you can do it with Rhys. Furthermore, Sal Frelick is still not playing quite at 100%, which I think you saw by him not scoring on that double yesterday, but that was a hard ball to score a double on. You could see it when he's running. There's small gait in the run, but he knows he needs to make sure, hey, let's be responsible here. Let's make sure that I make it to the finish line. The hamstring, can't let it get worse. Keep improving it. Stay disciplined. Get the treatment on it every single day, because they will need his legs in October. And some of you may be saying, well, why even play? Sal's wired different. Like, he's not a baseball player. He's a hockey player that happens to play baseball. He's a football player that happens to play baseball. He's tough as nails. I mean, remember when he jumped into that jut of the wall down the right field line and had a really deep bruise contusion and was barely limping the next day and then played in the playoffs? Like, he's that dude. Like, he wants it. And then one last note here on Caleb Durbin. You know, he's cooled off a bit. And Pat Murphy's admitted they wanted to try to give him a little bit of a breather since that L.A. series. And that's where Anthony Siegler has come in. He's only hitting .237 and only one extra base hit since that great L.A. series that he had. Just one double. He's not striking out. He's still drawing walks. He's not hitting the ball as hard as he was. So they're trying to give him a breather and get ready for this long stretch run, because the Brewers are starting 19 in 19 days tomorrow, or rather, they're getting ready to start 19 in 18 days next Friday. So get all the rest you can get. All right, say goodnight, give you the weekend update, and give you the scoreboard, and give you the start times for a long weekend of a rematch against the Mets on 620 WTMJ.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget, you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit frederick.com/cancer.
With a two-run blast. That's the sound of August Brewers baseball in Milwaukee. Make the most of every remaining summer game day and get your seats at brewers.com/tickets.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
It's Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
All right, 90 seconds left. Here we go into turbo mode. Tomorrow, the Brewers and the Mets, 7:10 first pitch right here on your home of the Brewers. Coverage begins, though, at 6 o'clock. I've got you covered for Brewers warm-up. Leads you into the On-Deck show. Jeff and Lane have the call this weekend on the radio. Tomorrow, the pitching matchup will... pulling it up here. It'll be Kodai Senga for the New York Mets. And then tomorrow, it'll be Brandon Woodruff for the Milwaukee Brewers. Then, Saturday, the Brewers will be handing the ball to Logan Henderson. Saturday is... No, I was right. Yep, Saturday is Logan Henderson. And then TBA, that'll be Frankie Montas' day, but there'll be an opener in front of him. And then on Sunday, the finale of this series, it'll be Sean Manaea going against the Brewers. That one will be up against Quinn Priester. The Priest is pitching on a Sunday. This is not a drill. Quinn Priester is pitching on a Sunday. The Mets, they're a little cold right now. Their bats are a little ice cold. They nearly got no hit by Gavin Williams. Maybe the Brewers will finish the job. We'll talk to you this weekend. Rematch on the way. For Brian Kelly, I'm Dom Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma